Good afternoon once again. You are tuning into the Northwest Sun right here in our program called Tell the Truth, and I'm your host, Valencia Andrews, right here on the Northwest Sun. As I promised you yesterday, I promised you that we're going to be doing a follow up on the case of our young little girl who's by the name Tshegofatso Matibako, who is only 15 years old, who's been murdered by a man of 46 years old, actually 47 years old, right here in the Northwest. And of course, we find how bad the girl was murdered, that she was helpless, she was hopeless, and she was defenseless, and of course, as young as she is. And of course, coming back to you with the follow-up is only from our side as the Northwest Sun, from our program called Tell the Truth, just to bring some few people, some few things to your attention. Of course, as you know, that our motto is education, motivation, encouragement for you to be restored. The aim is to restore you. The aim is to prevent. The aim is to bring education to your house, to your home, to your car, to everywhere you are, so that we prevent and we make sure that you get a restoration out of the education, motivation, and encouragement that we bring into your home. And of course, as the Northwest Sun in this program, we like to bring to your attention that it is not accepted for everything that happened to this young girl. We see and we believe that justice is going to be done. And we are going to follow up with this case until we see that justice is done. We're looking, of course, what is actually propelling us into making sure that the case supposed to be done accordingly. It is to also looking into the age of this young girl as well, because we see, according to the Act, the Act and the Constitution, the Children's Act says any person under the age of 18 is regarded as a child. And of course, we like to bring to the attention of Tshegofatso Matibako's family that we are actually bringing our heartfelt and condolences to your family and wishing you speedy recovery, as we know that you are mourning the passing of your daughter in this manner. And of course, we are with you in support, and we are saying to you as the family members that we are here to be with you, to support you. And the only thing that we are going to make sure is to make sure that the same incident does not happen. And unfortunately, we're going to be using Tshegofatso Matibako as an example to educate others outside there, to say to other parents, that it is very important to make sure that you spend time with our daughters, to spend time with our children, either girl children, boy children, to avoid them to be placed into a vulnerable situation. As you look into the contents of what happened and what transpired in this case, you see Tshegofatso is been found at the boyfriend's place, and of course he's been murdered there on top of the bed, and the boyfriend fled. And of course, we find this man being an unknown Lesotho national, and you ask yourself that he even is inside this country illegally and not in a legal form. So now what we are teaching to other people outside there, what we are teaching to other people outside there in South Africa, in everywhere, whoever will be listening, is to understand that a child is any person under the age of 18, that we should be able to be there for our children. We should be able to make sure that despite of whether you have nothing. Make sure that you don't keep quiet. Make sure that you speak. You speak to all the different departments. Seek help. You speak to other non-profit organizations, NPOs, because we work as interdepartmental responsibilities. All the different government departments must work together to raise a child. So now what we are bringing to you is just education, so that you must be able to be restored. Education, so that you must be able to be restored and motivate you as well. So we are trying to make sure that such kind of a situation never has to happen again. And of course, we are here to you to let you understand that it is our duty also as a young girls to make sure that we don't allow these unknown nationals to come in our lives, and of course as thinking that our children are vulnerable. As a mother, as a parent, let's make sure that we talk to one another, we talk to our neighbors, and we sit down with our children. It is very saddening to find our children being attacked and becoming victims of a gender-based violence at an early stage like this. And of course, I want to bring to your attention to say to you, the case is still being investigation, and we see also the ANC Youth League condemning whatever that happened as well. So remember, Tshegofatso Matibako is a teenager from Lemanyaneng village in Mafikeng sub-region, Ward 5. And of course, she was last seen by her boyfriend 5 days before her body was seen lifeless at the boyfriend's house. It is quite a very saddening story, and we believe that we will miss Tshegofatso. We love her. We love her family. We will make sure that everything goes accordingly. And of course, the case is going to be investigated accordingly. And of course, we're looking into a foreign national, Lesotho foreign national that comes, and when we look into the details, he fled, and of course no one knows of her whereabouts. So it is our duty to also, as we speak to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, to make sure that our people, our children and our people in South Africa must be safe, by not just allowing people to come in South Africa without any proper documentation to make our children's life, to put our children's life in danger. So of course, we are saying to you this morning, it is with sadness to report the case, and of course the passing away of Tshegofatso Matibako. We will always remember her, and of course we will always be there for her. We'll always be there for the family. You are tuning in to the Northwest Sun. Of course, I'm your host, Valencia Andrews, an activist of gender-based violence, an educator, and of course a trainer, a designer. Of course, I believe and I trust that right here on the Northwest Sun, we will be with you until we make sure that everything goes accordingly. Don't forget that our motto is education, motivation, encouragement for you to be restored. We are thinking and we believe that you are educated this morning, knowing that according to the Children's Act, any child, any person under the age of 18 is regarded as a child. And it is our duty, the neighbors, the mother of the kids, the parents of the children, to take care of that particular child. All the different other departments as well, it is their responsibility to make sure that we all bring our hands together to take care of that particular individual, either a boy or a girl, so that we can be able to restore their life, so that we can be able to protect their life, so that we can be able to let them understand that their lives, it is still under their parents, the government, and everyone, instead of them finding themselves vulnerable until they find people like this 46-year-old man that took an advantage of this young girl and decide to take her life. And of course, we are tuning in right here in the Northwest Sun. I'm your host, Valencia Andrews. And of course, stay tuned, subscribe, and make sure that you are informed so that you can be able to be restored. Stay close. Once again, welcome back in our program called Tell the Truth as we are on the Northwest Sun. I'm your host, once again, Valencia Andrews. I'm going to be taking you through in some few minutes about the effects of gender-based violence. And today we're going to be looking into one effect. I know we're still dealing with the dynamics, but based on the case of Tshegofatso Matibako, we're going to just quickly try to discuss a bit on the effects of gender-based violence. And of course, today we're going to be looking into one effect of gender-based violence, which is drugs and substances. When we looking into the gender-based violence effect, which is the drugs and substances. It's what we're talking about. The effect is what we see happening when gender-based violence happens. Let me make an example. When somebody is being abused, what happens thereof? Let me. I'm gonna continue making example. Maybe you are a woman and you have been abused. What will, when you end up staying in that particular relationship and you get abused, you might end up forcing yourself into, you don't have no choice. You're staying in that particular relationship because of a dynamic called finances. And what happens is the effect thereof is going to be now the alcohol. It's going to be drugs and substances, so you'll end up, because now you are staying in that particular relationship and you are protecting your abuser because of finances as a dynamic. Then what happened is now you are moving to the effects, and what happens, you live with that effect. The effects of drugs and substance, it goes this way. That's where now you end up trying to suppress. You don't know what to say. You don't know whom to talk to because you just want money. So you are trying to hide behind the fact that you just enjoying the fact that you want money. You are not happy. This person is supporting you with money and all that. You are not happy at all. So you instead goes to as far as, rather, because now you are getting that little money that you are getting, even if it is not enough. So what you do is taking a little bit of that money, you go and buy alcohol, you go and buy your drugs and all that, just to try and suppress the abuse and suppress, so that you cannot see, try to hide behind everything so that you cannot see what is happening around you. So you stay in that particular relationship, and then you end up having an effect called drugs and substances. So sometimes, maybe you are a woman, you expose yourself to alcohol, and what happens is it does not only that alcohol that you are exposing yourself to, so that you can suppress the pain and everything that is being caused by during the issue of abuse. So that alcohol that you are putting yourself into does not only end up with you, it goes and affects your children. Now you can't be able to take care of your children because you are always drunk, maybe with alcohol, or maybe because you are always high with any kind of substance. It can be weed, it can be crystal meth, it can be any kind of drugs and substances. So at the end of the day, you end up affecting the innocent children that you're supposed to be taking care of. The other thing, what happens is now because you are drunk, every time the very same spouse that is giving you money, you can see the cycle that is happening. The pain that this abuse is doing, it start as an abuse, and it caused it start as an abuse, then it caused dynamics. This one staying in the relationship. What happens then? It becomes an effect. The effect does not only affect you, it affects the other siblings inside the house. What happens is now it goes again back as a cycle. It goes again back as a cycle. Then the very same abuser, you end up not having respect to the very same abuser because you are hiding. You are actually in pain. You are hiding yourself behind the alcohol and the substances so that you may want to protect yourself and start speaking to the abuser the way you want, and you start becoming rebellious to the very same abuser due to the little money that he is giving you. And what happens is the abuser comes and he finds you not cooking for him, you are not doing this, and you are starting to be naughty and all those kind of things. So now the violence start to recur and start to go back to the beginning again. The very same abusers start coming back and abuse you again because you cannot respect him, because you talk to him the way you want, because he feels that you are always drunk, but he does not, because he does not know until you tell him when in your sober mind that I don't like what you're doing. And what happens again, it becomes yet another cycle. What it does is when both of you are busy fighting, I'm still talking about the effects now. This is the drugs and substances, the alcohol and everything. So now what happens is, because now both of you are not in a sober-minded situation. This man is now, you are now drunk, and now this one is used to be abusing you. What happens is now you are not, all of you, not even hiding each other. You are not even hiding yourself against the children. You are now just fighting in the open in front of the kids and all that. So now what happens is, now these children are now getting affected by seeing both of you fight. Others are so young and all that. What happens again, the cycle continues. It's such a tremendous and painful situation. So what happens is, these children sees both of you fighting. They end up so frustrated. They go to school, they misbehave at school. They end up also trying to suppress their feelings. They end up trying to suppress so that the teachers must not know what's happening and all that. So what they do, they also go out there, they get vulnerable, and what they do, they also subject themselves to drugs and substances, weed, trying to suppress their feelings that they, are trying to, and end up also going to join other gangs as well. So they get so pruned and they become victims of drugs as well. They are being used to be drugs, to do drugs. And at the end of the day, you find girls, the girls as well, they don't feel like coming home. At the end of the day, they end up becoming prone to these gentle men outside there, because now at the end of the day they don't feel welcome at home, because when they come home, mommy and daddy are fighting all the time. So can you see how important it is to break the cycle of violence? Now today we're only talking about only one effect, which is the drugs and substances. Can you see now that it does not only affect one person. It affected there's the very same woman who stays in this abusive relationship because of a dynamic, which is one dynamic of finance. And what happens is now she end up, because she's not talking, she's scared to go outside there and report the matter. So she decided to stay and hide herself behind the alcohol and the drugs. What happens is now the fight comes between the two of them, and now the children sees the fight, they get frustrated, and as and when they get frustrated, they also go outside, they seek for drugs, they use these substances to try and suppress, and they don't feel at home, and then it becomes a cycle and a cycle and a cycle. So we have all in our hand to know that we can go outside there to go and report the matter. You as a woman, what you should do the minute something like this happens, if you feel like you are not being supported, don't stay in that abusive relationship where you know that you're supposed to be financially be supported. You go and report the matter so that you can be able to receive financial support. Don't stay behind and hide against behind the drugs and substance, because at the end of the day, this child of yours, it is not only you who is being affected, but the children are being affected. And what happens is not only those children of you, not only your children that are being affected, the community is affected, the society is affected, the school is affected. And what happens is, as and when the children get affected and they get used to drugs, what happens is now the police are also going to be affected now, because then they have to deal with crime, where now your child go out there and steal so that he can be able to feed his or her habit. Now, let us understand that there is help outside there. Don't die alone. Go outside there. You can speak to us right here in the Northwest Sun. You can go outside there, so that all the different government departments must be able to take out and to come out and be able to assist you. You are tuning in to the Northwest Sun. I'm your host, Valencia Andrews. And of course, I am saying to you, we are bringing you to your house motivation. We are bringing to your house education. We are bringing to your house encouragement. We are bringing to your house all those three, so that you can be able to be restored. Your knowledge that you have will be able to restore your family. The knowledge that you have will be able to make you stand. The knowledge that you have will be able to make you realize your worth. The knowledge that you have will be able to make you realize that you are different, and you can add to make a difference into your life, to make a difference into the whole world, to make a difference into another person's life. You are tuning in to the Northwest Sun with your host, Valencia Andrews, with our program, Tell the Truth. And of course, we are here saying to you, stay close. And of course, me and you together, we will change this country, me and you together, we will make sure that the gender-based violence become the thing of the past. It is only when we can stand and start voicing out our dissatisfaction and start knowing that we need to know what is happening and how to deal with other issues. Knowledge brings you power. And when you have knowledge, you have power. You are tuning into the Northwest Sun. I'm your host, Valencia Andrews. And of course, make sure that you stay tuned and you stay very close.